welcome to Ask Moms podcast.
Welcome back to Ask Moms, the show where we talk about parenting, coffee, and all the ways we're trying to raise decent little humans without needing that therapist on our speed dial. As we always remind everyone, we are not professionals, but we can share our experience and remind you that
You're awesome.
If you feel you need professional support, please reach out to a qualified medical expert. So we're talking all things motherhood, the good, the tough, and everything in between there. So today we're talking about raising good humans. Kids who are kind, respectful, responsible, and maybe sometimes remembering to say thank you.
Wow.
I know, right? That's a good goal.
Right.
So we've got some good tips and a few funny stories we're going to share along the way. So stick with us.
I mean, come on, if we're honest, some days I feel like if we're being honest, some days I feel like I'm raising a tiny negotiator who could actually out-debate a lawyer. That's so true.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start here. So what does it actually mean to raise a good human? I think it's about raising kids who are kind, honest, resilient. Basically, people who don't shove in line and help their friends when they drop their lunch tray, right?
Yeah. So I was in the grocery store and a bunch of kids came in, just exuberant, having fun, getting some snacks and things. They were loud, like kids are, that were excited. This group of people were looking at them, and I was just beside the group of people, and they were saying how kids are so much worse today in their behavior. And I thought, wait a second, I don't agree with that. So
No, I don't either.
No. So I thought, well, I'm going to do some research and see if that's actually a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're saying that children today exhibit more behavioral problems than those from 50 years ago, with factors like increased media exposure, changes in the different parenting styles, and less community support contributing to this trend. However, some experts also argue that children today are actually better behaved in certain aspects, such as lower rates of smoking and drinking. And this was a study from York University that gave us that data.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, well, that was
So the smoking
pretty...
and drinking I could totally see.
Yeah,
right?
me too.
But the smaller kids, it's how you bring them up. So it's not on them.
So there's
So
the
shame on
positives.
those people saying that. They don't even know the kids.
So this is, I guess, where they're getting this data to is from schools and things like that. So they're saying that about 68% of the teachers reported experiencing verbal abuse from the students, which can manifest as yelling or threats towards the teacher, right? And that's not cool.
No.
This is a concern not just about traditional forms of the misbehavior that's always been there, but it's an escalation in the confrontational behaviors, like wouldn't have been allowed to happen years ago.
Well, because teachers are so limited on how they can control behavior.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I could kind of see that happening. We're allowing kids to act that way.
What's the repercussion, right? What happens?
I know. Leave the classroom, and then you go and join your friends.
So,
I know there's a bit of a gap in education there.
Now, I don't know if this is just new because maybe they didn't track this. Mental health factors are also included. They said nearly 21% of children aged 3 to 17 have been diagnosed with mental, emotional, or behavioral health conditions, including
ADHD. There, yeah.
11% anxiety disorders, 8% behavior disorders, 4% with depression. These children, if they don't get the help, they display misbehavior because they're struggling.
Yeah, they don't know how to deal with
Right.
whatever's going on in their head.
Exactly.
I would be really interested to see what steps are taking to help young children with anxiety. Like, when does that start?
Are they all being helped too? There's a long list, a waiting list for these kids to get some help, and I think that's very worrisome.
Yeah.
Because the longer you wait, the harder it is for the little things.
I'm just curious, like, what is so different from a grade 1 to a grade 3? You know, when they're just too little to be...
Yeah.
Where does that start?
Yeah.
Are parents angrier? Or, like, what's going on at home? The thing?
So is this being studied?
Siblings meaner? Like, what the heck? Yeah, is this being studied? That's kind of my question.
So there was some good news, though, some positive.
Yay.
78% of children aged 6 months to 5 years exhibit qualities associated with positive development.
Nice.
So they were being more affectionate, bouncing back from setbacks, and showing curiosity. For ages 6 to 17, 60% show positive behavioral traits, highlighting that not all the trends are negative. It's very easy to say everything's bad, but no, there's positive too. And then they did show, just if you want to know about the past and current trends in the behavior category, students displaying behavioral problems in 2023, it was 65%. And it's gone up to 70% in 2025. Reported verbal abuse by teachers, it's only gone up by 8% in those 2 years. I mean, that's still a lot. That's a bad trend. Children facing mental health conditions, it's gone up by 3% in those 2 years. And students with positive flourishing behaviors, it's gone down from 72% to 60%. The trend is indicating a complex picture.
You know what would be interesting to know is statistics are great, and I'm learning a lot just listening to you, but my concern is what are they doing with these stats to help the kids?
Maybe
because kids are born every day. My niece is going to have a child within days. Yeah. I think this kind of rolls back to like the whole family dynamic to me. So you know how they're talking about now in high schools, they're going to teach children or teenagers how to balance a bank book, if there is such a thing as a bank book anymore. But
and
you know what I mean,
it,
right?
Yeah.
Like how life skills. So if they start off with that, I think that's a positive thing because then they're not getting themselves in super debt, worried, stressed, trying to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Which when you start having kids, you're already stressed. So I believe, me personally, all this has something to do with where kids are today. But in my day, things are so much simpler. They didn't overanalyze everything. There were challenges for sure, like people need to address things. But the simple things like the family dynamic, kids' job was to go to school, do their homework. There wasn't a lot of discussion around different, like ADHD which is too bad because there's some kids that kind of would have flourished if that was, So some of the positive things, it's too bad we didn't have before. But some of the simple things that we had yesterday, it's too bad we didn't have today. So a nice blend of the two eras would be, to me, really great. Because when I listen to those stats, to me, it all goes back to the family dynamic. Because let's face it, you have your kids at home for the first 3-4 years, right? So best practices, putting things away, reading a book, all those things start even before they go to school.
So these stats maybe will help research into those factors.
Exactly. They can show different areas. Oh, this is critical.
Yeah.
Because this statistic can encompass all these different things, right?
Yeah.
So
that's research, what you're just saying.
Yeah, so hopefully somebody's doing something about it.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to research something, but it's another to apply the research to a solution, right? So.
But unless you do the research, you don't know what the problems are. So
100%.
Right? It's
100%.
very important.
Yeah.
Just like history. We learn through history.
It's critical to do that kind of research. Like, how do you know what to address if you don't know where the challenges are?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you listen to them, even a no-brainer like me, like I'm not in that world of education or anything. It's just, as a person, you can kind of see a trend already, talking back to the teacher, the disrespect that there is. And holy smokes. We had a bit of fear in us, too. Like, the teachers back then, my brother used to get the strap. So I'm not saying that's the way to go. Please. That's not the way to go. But I don't know. Like there has to be some way we can instill respect for people before they get into that world.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
going.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be corporal punishment.
No.
In fact, do not
No.
use corporal punishment, but something that will make the kids respect when they act rude or disruptive. And
So a great example was my dad, who used to always say, and I've heard, I've had kids come up to me and say, I want to be a better person. And this is legit. Someone actually said this to me. What do I do? So my dad used to always say, if you're struggling and you don't know what to do, you just do or you don't do what you don't want to happen to you.
Treat others like you want to be treated.
Exactly. So that's a good rule of thumb if you're sitting on the fence about something. But yeah, just basic manners as they're growing up.
We need to get manners cool again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it didn't go out of style, but so how do we get being mannerful and being respectful cool again?
Well, I also think educators need more education as well on how to manage these, like Jefferson that we always talk about. How do you manage this instead of blowing up? How do you,
address
their attitude or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So, educators need education too on how to manage this type of environment. So, it's not all on the kids. I think the parents need to, engage on, and there's so much online that they can do. So, anyway, because kids are good kids.
Of course.
They really
need
are.
the guidance and the mentoring.
Yeah.
And even if it's not the parents, if it's grandparents, caregivers.
Mm-hmm. And they're responding because their feelings are hurt or they want to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's never or very rarely a case of they just are full of hate and want to hurt you.
No.
That's not, there's something going on with them. They need to understand that.
Yeah.
Right? And give them the basic skills as they go to each level, they can manage some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
We need to figure out how to help when the kids are disrespectful in the classroom. What can the teachers do?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And, AI is a good example for, you can't take it 100% by its word, but it can give you good ideas. So if you're a teacher and you're in a situation, or if you're a parent or an aunt or a grandmother or whatever you are to that child, you could kind of Google it and just say, this is what's happening. How would you,
Yeah.
And if it makes sense, it can help you. So there's always resources to help.
If you don't know all the answers.
Yeah. And the mental health through Mayo Clinic or, some of those resources that
Yeah.
that you think are, what's the word I'm looking for? Like if you don't want to just use AI and it's just kind of thrown out there and you want an actual trusted resource, I guess is what I'm,
Yeah.
There's tons of those out there too. But sometimes just simple hints will work.
For kids, like the increased anxieties and mental health conditions, it really does contribute to the misbehavior. So addressing these underlying issues, through supportive measures, that's going to be vital in fostering better behavior and overall well-being in children.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So I guess we could all lead by example as well, right? Which is a little terrifying because you can catch yourself muttering at bad drivers. So,
yes.
Nobody's perfect. And they're taking notes, so they're watching you.
Oh, they so are. Everything you do.
So I think we talked about that before. Everything you do, they're just watching you. So be careful and be kind to strangers and to yourself. Kids learn empathy and integrity through observation and small, consistent acts of kindness. So one big piece of raising good humans is empathy, getting kids to think beyond themselves.
Agreed. And that can be tricky when they're like 3 years old and the world revolves around their sippy cup. And that's all they get is the attention.
Yeah.
Empathy grows when we help them see how others are feeling. So we've got to get these little ones to understand by saying things like, hey, how do you think your friend felt when you said that or when that happened to them? They lost their doll or they tripped and got a scrape on their knee. How do you think they felt?
Yeah.
So it gets them to look outside of just their own little world of snacks and sippy cups.
Oh, 100%. That goes back to the Papa statement. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how old you are.
Nope.
Treat others like you want to be treated.
And using books and stories, like that's one of my favorite ways to help get this across too. Like there's awesome books like Stand in My Shoes, Kids Learning About Empathy by Bob Sorensen, Panda, My Bear by Leah Huggins, The Boy and the Whale by Mordecai Gerstein. And those are a few of my faves of like a bazillion. There's tons of them. And kids love hearing about characters who face challenges, right? Yeah. Even the cartoons.
Yeah.
So it opens the door for these empathy talks we can have. Like you can just say little nice gentle questions like, hey, who were you rooting for and
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
You know, this
So-
conversation.
So compliment to you,
Yes.
and I guess and to me.
Yes.
A friend of mine's an illustrator, but he invited me to write a book with him. So we just finished. We just finished writing this book, and it was all based on what are the good attributes to be a good person. And that was all based on our podcast when we did the attribute thing.
And that's awesome.
So,
Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
for
Well,
you.
it's not out there yet, but
Well, but still, writing it is the first
it
part.
was fun. It was fun. And volunteering helps too. So even small things like letting your kid donate one toy before birthdays, that's a good idea.
It
That was
is.
your idea. That's a good one. Teaches generosity. Empathy isn't taught in one lecture, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's modeled and practiced through daily life,
Yeah.
right?
Let's talk responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Being a good little human and a big human also means showing up, following through, and not blaming the dog or somebody else for something. And it's tough, but
Yeah.
you got to,
It's tough, especially when it's cute.
yeah, you've got to take that responsibility. And it's just easy. Get it over
Yeah.
right off the bat. Like, don't hide it.
Yeah.
And that's through experience. Take my advice. Just own up right off the bat.
Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
But I will say too that if you're showing your kids to do something and they have their own way of doing it, and it takes 5 minutes longer, let them do it their
Oh,
way.
yeah, totally.
Because I've found that if you're constantly correcting what they do, how they do it, they're going to do that to somebody else. Potentially hurts their feelings, and it doesn't really matter.
No,
as
it
long as
doesn't.
it gets done.
You're being all judgy.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's not about perfection
No.
or even success all the time. It's about contribution and progress.
Mm-hmm. And respect goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
That starts with how we talk to them and about others.
That's right. So if they see us rolling our eyes at people or yelling at a customer service, they'll do that too. They're going to copy that. So be a good example.
Yeah, 100%.
So we're under surveillance 24/7. There's that old-fashioned saying about children and parental influence. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So they
Exactly.
copy what we do. So, hey, let's watch what we do.
Yeah. And yeah, parenting's the longest running reality show ever, right? Mm-hmm. Responsibility starts small, like folding laundry, owning mistakes, like you said just earlier,
Yep.
treating others with respect. We all talk about, but hopefully we start doing a little better at that.
Mm-hmm.
Little acts lead to lifelong habits.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this is a tough one, but letting kids fail is super important. Even though every instinct says fix it for them, take it away. The truth is failure teaches problem solving and resilience. So they have to learn that.
Yeah, exactly. If they never fall, they never learn to get back up.
So we can still be supportive about rescuing them, like saying, hey, I'm really proud of you for trying. I know that didn't go the way you hoped, but what can we learn from that and do differently?
Yeah. So sorry. I'm giggling because I'm thinking there are times you want to step in. You know, like
All
if
the
they're
time,
if they're
yeah.
setting a fire or something, that might not be a good thing.
No.
So anyway, it teaches them mistakes aren't disasters; they're lessons.
Exactly.
Right?
And it builds grit.
The world is not going to end.
And we want adults who can handle life's curveballs when they're thrown at us, not crumble over one bad test, something like that.
Yes.
So letting the kids fail safely and supportively builds that confidence and emotional strength they need. It helps in self-discovery, the growth mindset, and it teaches them to consider challenges as opportunities, ways to learn, and to not give up. So this encourages lifelong learning.
Okay. I just wanted to share a story about, and maybe you can help me classify this.
Okay.
So recently I was at my parents' funeral, and my niece is a daughter, so my great niece, showed up at the funeral, and she had a Montreal Canadian sweatshirt on, and she had a Christmas skirt on.
Awesome.
That was her outfit, because my father loved Montreal Canadians, and my mom loved Christmas. And that was all on her. So we're talking about the initiative of an 8-year-old little girl that wore a Canadian top for her grandfather.
Exactly.
And a Christmas skirt for her grandmother.
Did it for her grandfather.
Yes.
That's right.
So what is that? Empathy? What is that? That she would think of that at 8 years old.
Yeah, that's like,
She didn't worry that she didn't match. She didn't worry what people thought. She did it because that she felt they would like that,
Yeah, she's
which
got,
they totally would have.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's my nice story.
I like that. See, there's lots of good humans, little good human win stories. Like, here's a short true story about a lemonade stand for a cause. So in the summer of 2020, a group of kids in a little neighborhood wanted to make a difference. So they noticed that some families in their community were struggling due to job losses from the pandemic. A lot of people were. So inspired to help, they all got together and decided to set up a lemonade stand. So their parents gave their permission, and they gathered supplies and decorated small tables. They sold cups of lemonade for just $1 with a sign that read, "All proceeds go to help families in need." This is a true little story. By the time word spread, these little kids had raised over $200, and they donated the money to the local food bank. Not only did these kids learn about the importance of community service, but they also discovered how small efforts could lead to big changes.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like a symbol of hope for them and kindness in their neighborhood. And it inspires others to get involved and make a difference. There's so
And
many
they probably
of these
had
stories.
such a ball doing it.
Yeah.
It's not about money to kids. They're about doing good deeds.
Helping.
And we just need to show them how to get started.
Right. So
Right.
there's a lot of good little humans out there.
And shout out to Penelope for her outfit. That was very sweet.
Absolutely. I would do the same thing too,
Yeah.
And I think that was such a wonderful
Yes.
gesture that she did. So it's these tiny signs that the kids are absorbing the lessons, even if they still forget their shoes daily. Notice and celebrate those small, good human moments. It encourages more of them. Yeah.
So to sum it up, raising good humans doesn't mean being perfect parents. It means showing up, being kind, modeling empathy, and letting our kids learn through the messiness.
Right. So it's about the progress, not perfection, as a very wise friend told me. Celebrate the small wins, whether it's your child sharing their toys or showing empathy to a friend. These moments are the building blocks of their great character. Remember, you guys are doing better than you think, so go raise those good little humans.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, just maybe, if we keep doing our best, one day they'll thank us. Or at least stop leaving wet towels on the floor. Thank you for tuning in. Please connect with us at askmomstoday@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, but also on Hunters Bay Radio 88.7 on the dial, or www.muskokaradio.com. As always, we hope we've helped you feel empowered, heard, and supported. And please remember, moms, dads, kids, we know you do your best, and you're not alone. So until next time, please take care of yourself and others when you can.
You've got this.